This is a brand new league, and this is the first ever game played in the Danube American Football League. We are in Bucharest, Romania, on Steaua Rugby Stadium, a historic place for the Romanian rugby, which gave this country a lot of great events, and one of the national teams that usually qualifies for the Rugby World Cup. Romania will be represented in Australia for the next Rugby World Cup, but this is about American football, and we have a rivalry renewed today as the Bucharest Titans are ready to take on the Bucharest Rebels in the first ever game played in the DAFL. 4 teams will start in this competition. 2 from Romania, the Titans and the Rebels, who are facing off today, and that will be followed by Sofia Bears from Bulgaria and Kragujevac Wild Boars from Serbia. These 4 teams will play against each other in round robin, and then we're gonna go on to the semi-finals and the final throughout this season. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cosmin Petrescu, and I'll be your host today for this great event, the first ever game in the DAFL. It might be a historic event here in Bucharest, and we are now ready for the coin toss as the captains are walking the center of the field for what will be the first coin toss of the DAFL. As I was mentioning, 2 games are about to be played today, 2 weeks from now. Week number 2 in the DAFL. The Bucharest Rebels and the Bucharest Titans, 2 teams that are representing the capital city of Romania. And the edge is, of course, in favor of the Rebels. 9-time Romanian champs. They won the last 6 championships in the Romanian National Football League, but this Bucharest Titans team is a brand new one. They have some imports, they have some Bulgarian players, they have a lot of homegrown players, and they are gonna start this season right here in Bucharest, and they would like to start it with a big noise against the Bucharest Rebels. So we are still waiting for the coin toss as the referees are informing the players about the rules. Of course, international football rules, which are similar with the NCAA. For the game today, we have an officiating crew led by the referee George Rusu, the umpire is Vlad Rus, the down judge Cătălin Boieriu, the line judge Cristi Baltă, and the back judge Emilia Matei. So the coin toss was won by the Bucharest Titans, who elected to receive, and the special teams are gonna take on the court right here. For the Bucharest Titans, they were the national champions of flag football, a sport that will be introduced at the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028. But they are still waiting for their first official win in a tackle 11 versus 11 game in the history of their team. They won many 8 versus 8 games. They won some friendly 11 versus 11 games, but nothing official. So that would be a first for them if they would be able to knock down the heavy favorites, Bucharest Rebels. As I mentioned before, 6-time in a row champion and a total of 9 championship for the team that will kick off here from their own 30. On the return for the Bucharest Titans, Chad Turner, one of the imports for the team. And we are underway. The first ever game in the DAFL will start with a kick out of bounds. So Titans will get a very good spot at the start of this one. The ball will be placed at their own 40 after this kickoff out of bounds. And they will have the quarterback, Sam Armstead, at the helm. Another import for the team. He played multiple schools, most notable Austin Peay State and University of Key State. Went to Stratford High School, and the guy from Nashville, Tennessee, who graduated with a college of 4.0, earning the title of summa cum laude, is ready for his first play in the DAFL. Ball actually placed at the 43-yard line for the Titans. First and 10. They keep it on the ground, and the first run goes for about 2 yards. Henry Ossey is tackled pretty fast. I might be a little bit generous with that 2-yard gain. It looks like Ossey was stopped right off the line of scrimmage, so they're going to keep it with a 2nd and 10 for the Titans. Teodor Antoje was ready to take on the field right here, and a pretty spread out offense this time for the Titans. Dennis Popeye in motion, goes next to the offensive line. Armstead this time from the shotgun. Good protection from the pocket. The first throw, a flag flies. The catch is good, and that's going to be a first down for the Titans after a gain of 12. That will stand. The ball was caught by Chad Turner. His first reception here in this game, but we'll have to wait for the penalty. Right now, the officiating crew are getting a short talk, and we're gonna hear it. So unfortunately for the Titans, that will not stand. That was a legal formation, and they're gonna be back down for this play. Well, that's going to be a 2nd and 15 now for the Titans. Armstead once again from the shotgun, gives a deep ball, and that's a huge catch for the Titans. What about that? Nothing will call that back. This time all legal formation, and a great catch by Biogo Mustafa, who gives the Bucharest Titans great field position after that great pass from Armstead. That pass went for over 50 yards in favor of the Titans, and they are in the red zone for the first time today. Sam Armstead already displaying his accuracy here at the start of this game. A split back for Armstead. The ball is kept by Armstead. He's going to take it by himself, runs for the end zone. Armstead stay in bounds for the moment, and he is pushed out of bounds at the 7. This time the Rebels defense was ready for that play. They were trying to fake the handoff to the running back. Armstead was trying then to find a little bit of a space on the right side, but he was stopped here by a very good defense from the Bucharest Rebels. A gain of 8. 2nd and 2 from the Rebels 10. Once again a split back. This time Armstead looks for the pass and somebody slipped into the end zone, and that's going to be incomplete. 3rd and 2 coming up for the Titans. This is a very important play right here, as the Titans need to convert this 3rd down in order to keep the offense on the field. Usually, if they don't get the 3rd down, they're gonna try to go for it on the 4th down, but they would not like to face that scenario over there. Once again, the ball stays on the ground, and that's a huge tackle for the Rebels. Radek Ghencea goes straight into Bill Schreiber, and Schreiber is tackled for a loss. So 4th down coming up. Instead of a 4th and 2, the Titans are facing right now a 4th and 13. And that's a tough spot to be, but they're gonna go for it. Usually in the Romanian Football League, they don't actually use the special teams, they don't go for the field goals. So on a 4th and 13, Armstead, he is rushed, throws as he moves, and that's incomplete, and the Bucharest Rebels are gonna take over on defense. The 4th down conversion is no good, so the Rebels are coming with the offense for the first time on the field today. It was a good drive for the Titans. They had that 50-yard pass from Armstead to Bioga Mustafa, but unfortunately for them, the drive stalled. That great tackle made by Ghencea that gave the Bucharest Rebels an 11-yard gain actually for the defense. Of course, the Titans lost 11 yards on that play, made it very, very difficult. Sorin Marin, the quarterback for the Bucharest Rebels, starts from the shotgun, gives it on the ground to Constantin Mircea, who finds a little bit of space, but that was congested traffic over there, and he was not able to gain more than 1 yard on that play. So 2nd and 9 coming up. First run by Mircea Constantin, good for a gain of 1. Marin once again in the shotgun. That's actually pistol formation there. Constantin this time with a little bit of more space, but that's not going to be enough for a first down. Only a 2 or 3 yard gain and a little bit of extracurricular activities at the end of that play. So right now the Titans are anticipating a pass from the Rebels. It's going to be a 3rd and 5 right here. Back-to-back runs for Mircea Constantin. The Rebels are yet to throw a football, but a lot of people are expecting them to go through the air this time. Marin once again pistol formation, keeps it on the ground again. Constantin breaks the first tackle and he is down. The Rebels are asking for a first down. We'll have to wait. Maybe they're going to need a measurement here. But judging from the spots the ref is giving the Rebels the football here, that's going to be a first down for the Bucharest Rebels. And yes, it is. So a 3rd down conversion for the Rebels. They went 3 straight plays with Constantin on the ground, and they are moving the chains for the first time in their favor in this first ever game in the DAFL. Marin, that's going to be his first pass, wide open on the sideline is Take, who caught that ball, breaks the first tackle, and that's going to be a gain of 9. Gabriel Take was pretty open on that play, and it took some time for the Titans to realize that the Rebels are going through the air this time, so a gain of 9. A little mistake there on the coverage for the Titans defense. The Rebels trying to move the chains again. 2nd and 1. Very hard to defend a play like that, and this is Marin. Great protection, steps out of the pocket. Marin is followed and he's forced to go out of bounds. That's a very good play for the Titans defense. It was Dimitar Dimitrov who followed Marin. Marin was able though to gain that short amount of distance in order to give his team another first down, but he was looking for way more, and the play developed very well at the start as Marin was trying to put the ball deep into the Titans territory. Nevertheless, that's a positive play for the Rebels. They are now at their own 40. Marin, the good pass here for Iremia, but he drops it. Iremia was wide open on that play, no coverage from the Titans, but sometimes things like this happens, especially when you have a lot of real estate in front of you. You're thinking about how about to develop the play, and you're forgetting to do the easiest thing on that specific play: catch the damn football. Well, that football stays on the ground here. Mircea Constantin gets on the side and he is tackled for a loss. Very good play for the Titans. That was also a flag on the field, so we'll have to wait for the penalty here. Still have to wait for that penalty. Whoa, that's a big one for the Rebels. That was an illegal contact, and that will be good for a 15-yard penalty. And looks like we had a challenge here from the Titans coach Bojan Kovacevic, and that's going to be a last time out. So we are still tied here in the first ever game in the DAFL. All the game broadcast on an official channel of the Danube American Football League, a brand new league that starts today, as I mentioned before, at 3 p.m. Central European time. That's going to be 4 p.m. local time. The Sofia Bears will host the Kragujevac Wild Boars in the second game 2 weeks from now. Those teams will play again. The Bucharest Titans will also play at home here in Bucharest against the Sofia Bears on April 18, while the Bucharest Rebels will travel to Serbia and they will face the Kragujevac Wild Boars in that round 2 of the DAFL. And on May 2nd, the first part of the season will end with the Titans playing away from home in Craiova against the Wild Boars, and Rebels hosting the Sofia Bears. Then, of course, in the second half of the season, all the teams will play again, but this time they gonna switch sides, and whoever played at home will play away from home, not in that particular order. For example, the second game between the Rebels and the Titans will take place in round 5 on May 30. You can find a schedule on the Facebook page or on the Instagram of the DAFL. Back to action here after the 15-yard penalty for the Bucharest Rebels. That's going to be a second and around 25, and once again the game is stopped. It looks like a false start against the Rebels, so it goes from bad to worse. And they're going to be back down even more. Maybe they're going to start using that beep, beep, beep sound that the trucks or the buses are using when they are backing down in the parking lot. So 3rd and 30 for the Rebels. From their own 20, Marin fakes the pass, gets outside of the pocket, puts it deep, and it is incomplete. The question right here, facing a 4th down, what will the Rebels do? Usually the Rebels, in the past years, in the American Football Championship here in Romania, we're going for the 4th down no matter what, but right here the situation is very complicated. With a 4th and 30 coming up, probably they're gonna punt the ball. Chad Turner already entered the field as a returner for the Titans. And looks like we're gonna have a punt here. Mircea Constantin acting as the punter. That's not a bad punt. The ball takes a friendly roll, and that's a muffed ball, and it is recovered by the Rebels. The Rebels got the football back. It is recovered by Marius Golanu after a bad play over there from Chad Turner. That might be huge here in the outcome of the game. The Titans did everything good. The Rebels were back down at their own 20. They were facing a 4th and 30, and suddenly on a punt, a dropped football, and the recovery by the Rebels. We have a flag at the end of the play, so we have to wait and listen what George Rusu, the referee of this game, will announce here on the Rugby Stadium. Looks like he's consulting the rule book right now, so definitely the game will be delayed for a moment. Well, we had a full hand of events here. So at the end of the play, the ball was touched by the receiving team. It was recovered by the kicking team, so the Rebels will have the football. But at the end of the play, Vlad Costel George is responsible for an unsportsmanlike conduct, as he was swearing, as long as George Russo was explaining here on the sideline. So it looks like Costel George Vlad was swearing his opponents, and that's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct, a 15-yard penalty for the Bucharest Titans. And we have also reached the end of the first quarter, still tied at nothing, so 0-0 the score of the first quarter, and the game will resume with the Rebels on the offense. They're gonna switch sides, of course, as the rule book imposed at the end of each quarter, and the Rebels will have the football in a very favorable spot, starting from the opposing 19 with a 1st and 10 after the 15-yard penalty once again caused by the unsportsmanlike conduct by Costel George Vlad. So what I was saying, that for the Rebels it went from bad to worse, is actually happening right now for the Titans. They were about to get that football back, and then after the penalty, the Rebels are almost in the red zone. They're starting from the 20 and the 21 in the end, and that's an incomplete pass. It was intended by Marin to Goleanu. Incomplete, so 2nd and 10 coming up from the Titans 21. These are difficult times here for the Titans, but teams that are winning games are usually going through times like this, and they know how to respond. They need the defense first to take care of business. Sorin Marin from the shotgun, great protection. Flags flying on the field, and in the end he is hit and sent out of bounds. But once again we have to wait for the penalty. The result of a play, a 2 or 3 yard loss for the Rebels. And that's a penalty against Bucharest Rebels. A penalty against Mihnea Buduru. A hold, 10-yard penalty for the Rebels. A game that so far works better for the team that's playing defense right now here at the Steaua Rugby Stadium. Both offense having a difficult time getting yards here on the field. 20 yards to gain for the Rebels. The pass is caught by Goleanu, but a great tackle here. Stefan Kalinikov, the Bulgarian player for the Bucharest Titans, adding another loss for the Rebels offense here. 3rd and 21 coming up next. Ball is placed on the 34-yard line on the Titan side of the field. Pistol formation once again for the Rebels. Marin scanning the defense, throwing it deep, and it is a little bit too strong. Pietro Dinka was wide open, and if Marin had a little bit more accuracy, that would have been a touchdown, because nobody was able to stop him. He was a clear path to the end zone, but unfortunately for the Rebels, that's an incomplete pass, and 4th down coming up next. This time they're gonna go for it from the Titans 34. 4th and 21 for the Rebels. Mircea Constantin next to Sorin Marin. The game is stopped again. We're gonna have another penalty, another flag coming, this time from the Titans side of the field. And that's also a timeout called by the Titans. But the penalty is against the Rebels. A false start against Gabriel Moldovanu. So the offensive line moved and the Rebels are once again back down now at their own 39. Fourth and 26, my bad. 4th and 26 coming up for the Bucharest Rebels. Here at the start of the second quarter, still tied, no score in this game. A lot of penalties and 2 dominating defenses so far. 4th and 26, Marin throws it on the sideline and it was almost intercepted. Actually, that's better for the Titans because the interception would have given them the ball on the spot of that pick ball. Right now they're going to have it from their own 39 after the turnover on downs for the Bucharest Rebels. So no harm done. That muff punt recovered by the Rebels leaves no wounds on the board here for the Bucharest Titans. They're going to come back on offense, of course. Right now they have the momentum. The morale coming back up after the defense was able to stop the Rebels, who were starting that drive from the opposing 21. 1st and 10 for the Titans. That's going to be a loss for 2. The ball stayed on the ground. They were trying to advance with Henry Ossey. Ossey is tackled here for a loss, and that's going to be 2nd and 11. I was a little bit too generous with that defensive tackle for the Bucharest Rebels. Only a loss of 1 for Ossey. And they're going to continue the drive. Another split backs for the Titans. Armstead gets the snap here. Out of the pocket, throws as he moves, and it goes through the hands of Diogo Mustafa. Incomplete. We also have a flag on the field and looks like an injury for the Titans. The player is down. I cannot figure yet who got injured on that play, but he's going to receive medical attention, as we're going to hear it from Vlad Russo in a few moments again with that flag. Diogo Mustafa on a great spot on the field on that last play, but I think the pass was thrown a little bit too high by Armstead. The good news here for the Titans is that the center, Alex Marica, is back up because he was the one down here. And without Marica, this offensive line can suffer a lot for the Titans. So great news for the Titans. Marica, who is also a founding piece of this Bucharest Titans. Marica is back on the O-line and ready to do his job, protect the quarterback, create gaps for the running back. But we still have to figure out what the penalty was all about. If that's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct against the Rebels, it's going to be an automatic first down. The Rebels are showing the penalties against the Titans. And And in the end, it looks like we have a penalty against both teams, so those two will be offset. And the down will be replayed. So 2nd and 11 for the Bucharest Titans from their own 38. Same split backs here for Sam Armstead. Armstead once again looking for some open receiver, and he slips as he was trying to avoid a tackle. Trevante Carter coming here for the defense of the Bucharest Rebels, and Carter will be credited with this tackle. Probably a tackle for a loss of 1. If Sam Armstead would have broken that, he would have a huge gap of field in front of him. 3rd and 13 here for the Titans. Of course, with that big distance to cover in order to get another first down, the Rebels are once again expecting a play through the air. And that's a bad snap. The ball is alive, recovered by the Titans for the first time, and then the Rebels are taking over. That's a fumble on the snap, recovered by the Rebels. And once again, great field position for the Bucharest Rebels after the bad snap here for the Titans. Once again, going from bad to worse to negative play. That ball that went through the hands of Diogo Mustafa, and then this fumble recovered by the Rebels, very close to the 20-yard line, actually at the 23. So 1st and 10 from the opposing 23 for the Bucharest Rebels. Both teams are yet to score here at the Steaua Rugby Stadium. First ever game in the history of the DAFL. Marin keeps it on the ground. Constantin runs for about 4 or 5 yards here. A positive play for the Bucharest Rebels. Second and 6 coming up for the visiting team. 9-time Romanian champions. They won the last 6 championships in a row, and usually there was no contest for the Bucharest Rebels. Many of those championships were won by a huge gap, except for some finals where they had some good opposition. Marin this time will pass it on the left side. The ball is caught by Take. Take trying to break the tackle, but he won't. A very good coverage this time for the Bucharest Titans. No gain on that play. Take stopped right on the spot by that tackle made by Cătălin Dinu. 3rd and 6 now for the Rebels. The ball stays on the ground again. Constantin got his knee down, and that will be the end of the play. Once again, the field is very slippery here in Bucharest because in the past few days it was pouring in the capital city of Romania. So a lot of rain we experienced in the past few days. We experienced a little bit of rain in the morning too, so the field is really wet, so adjusting the cleats might be the difference in this game for all the players. So whoever makes the adjustments right can have a huge advantage in this one. 4th and 7 here after the loss of 1 for the Bucharest Rebels. Once again, pistol formation for Sorin Marin. Good protection this time. Marin throws it deep and it is intercepted. The first pick of the game, and the ball is returned on the sideline at the 35. The first turnover for the Rebels. So the Titans are responding with a defense after the fumble recovered by the Rebels at the opposing 27. We are having here an interception. First pick of the game, I hope I'm not mistaken. I wasn't able to see who was the player who got that ball, but definitely that's an interception for the Bucharest Titans, so they get the football back from their own 35. Defense once again coming up big for the Titans. It needs to be backed up by the offense. Sam Armstrong from the shotgun, 1st and 10 with a split backs. Armstrong dancing in the pocket, throws as he moves, and he gives it right back. Petru Matake Albulescu with the pick for the Rebels. So back-to-back turnovers. 1 for the Rebels, 1 for the Titans. Petru Matake Albulescu saying, you know what you can do, I can do even better, and he gets it right back from Armstead. So the Rebels are getting the offense back on the field. It looks like a roller coaster right now, and it's probably harder to have the offense on the field right now than playing on the defensive side of this game. A lot of mistakes. Already 3 turnovers for the Titans. 1 interception thrown by Sorin Marin as well, as he is starting the game back with the ball on the ground, and this time we're gonna have a huge run, a 14-yard run by Percy King. 1st and 10 for the Rebels. The running game working here for the visiting team, as Percy King had some very good gaps created by the offensive line. The ball is placed exactly on the 20-yard line here for the Rebels, so they are in the red zone. Marin gives it to King again, this time on the right side, breaks the tackle, and he goes out of bounds. Consecutive plays with positive yardage for Percy King. A 14-yard run on the first one, a 3-yard run here for Percy King. 2nd and 7 up next for the Rebels, who are trying to get a little bit of motion on the offense. They're trying to get the offensive rhythm, which was not the case so far in this game. As I mentioned before, a lot of turnovers, fumbles, interceptions, and also turnover on downs. Of course, many of those turnover on downs were forced by the bad field position and by the penalties created by both teams, and that's going to be the first time out called by the Bucharest Rebels, as Percy King was facing Georgia Rusu, the referee of the game, and he was asking for this timeout. So we are still tied, no score here in Bucharest. Late in the second quarter, the game clock is stopped here, and the Rebels will resume with the ball on the 20-yard line. Well, actually that should be a little bit further. I think they will get it from the 70-yard line. Yeah. That's from the 70-yard line. Until the game resumes once again, I would like to remind you that for the Titans, they are still looking for their first ever official win in the team history. They won the Flag National Championship back in 2025. Flag football coming up, as I mentioned at the start of the broadcast, at the LA Olympics in 2028. They won some friendly games, but a scrimmage doesn't compare with an official game, and the Titans would like to start with a bang. Right now, they need a defense once again. 2nd and 7 from the 17. Marin gives it deep to Percy King, and he is dropped. Very good coverage here by the Titans. It was Stefan Kalinikov, who I think got a piece of that football and deflected it just enough in order for Percy King to not catch it. So that's incomplete. 3rd and 7 for the Rebels from the Titans 17. Mircea Constantin catching a breath on the sideline after being the running back for the team on the first drive. Now King gets the football, looks for some space on the left side, and that's a clinic of a tackle for the Titans. Once again, Stefan Kalinikov getting straight into the halfback and not letting King to advance. That's a loss of 1. 4th and 8 coming up for the Rebels. And as we are used to, they are going for it. The Rebels trying to play fast here, trying to play no huddle. Marin this time with Constantin next to him. He will look for the pass, and it is very far away from the intended receiver, who I think it was Alex Jeremia. But once again, the Titans are taking over on downs. So still no score, but this time the field position very complicated for the Titans, especially for an offense that was not able to create much, except for that start of the game when Sam Armstrong had that 50-yard pass. They would love to see another one like that here, because they are not right now very close to their own end zone. Armstrong looks for the pass. This time it's complete. A great move here by the receiver as Chad Turner is advancing on the sideline. And this is exactly what the doctor recommended for the Titans offense. Huge play for the home side. Chad Turner with the catch, Sam Armstrong with the throw. And that's a 1st and 10 on their own 43. So a gain of around 23 for the Titans on that play. Right now, the challenge is to set the offense on time. It looks like they did that. 1st and 10. Armstrong once again from the pocket. That's congested, and down he goes. First sack of the game for the Rebels. Sam Armstrong is backed up for about 6 yards here. So after a positive play, here comes a negative one. And we have the last timeout called by the Titans. That's the 3rd and the final timeout for the Titans. But they really needed this one. First and 10 here, another fumble, and the question is who recovered that ball. It looks like the Titans will still have it, but back-to-back negative plays. A fumble this time recovered by the offense, but that's another loss, and a 3rd and 22 coming up. Once again, a split back for Armstrong. Armstrong looking for the pass, and it is dropped by Mustafa. The ball is very slippery. I told you the field is in good condition, but as good as they can be after a 3-day very, very rainy weather here in Bucharest. So 4th down coming up, 27 seconds left in the first quarter. That's what I've heard from the officiating crew. And the question right here is, will the Titans go for it with only 27 seconds left? Of course, the game clock is stopped after the incomplete pass. If we go in, if we go, and we will play cover 4. Cornerbacks going the same. You are on the short side of the field. Okay. You are going to Armstead, once again with bad protection, breaks the first tackle, but down he goes again, and that will be counted as a sack by Eddie Baric. Baric drops Armstead for another huge loss, and the Rebels are taking over on downs with only about 20 seconds left until the end of the second quarter. But that's great field position for the Rebels, and with 2 timeouts in their pocket, they have a chance of getting the first score on this game. They're going to start from the red zone. The ball will be placed on the 19-yard line of the Titans. Sorin Marin once again with Mircea Constantin on his left side. Marin will pass it to Constantin. Incomplete. No, my bad. That was actually Percy King. But the outcome is the same. Incomplete pass by Sorin Marin. The game clock stops again. So about 10 seconds left. Still time for about 2 plays for the Rebels. Now the question is how they will approach this situation right here, because right here we're talking about situational football. You go for a short pass in order to call a timeout and go for another one, or you are trying to get a home run, putting the ball straight into the end zone. And no running back, empty backfield here for Marin. He's looking for the end zone and is picked off by the Titans. Bioga Mustafa gives Sorin Marin his 2nd turnover on the game. He was forced to throw it into the end zone as they were looking for the touchdown with only a few seconds left until the end of the second quarter. But that will end with a tie. So no score after the first half. The last play of the half was the Sorin Marin throw intercepted by Bioga Mustafa. And the game will resume after about a 15-minute break, tied at 0. A lot of mistakes, a lot of turnovers, and still no score in the first ever game on the DAFL. Join us for the second half. We're going to take a break and we're going to be right back with you. So, as I like to say, work with us, not against us. Stay with us. 100% defensive affair in a 100% Romanian affair. The first ever game in the DAFL is at the halftime, and both teams are yet to score. A lot of turnovers in the first half. 2 interceptions thrown by Sorin Marin, the quarterback of Bucharest Rebels. 1 interception for Sam Armstead. Also, to recover fumbles for the Bucharest Rebels, and a lot of turnovers on down. Second half coming up. The Rebels will receive as Percy King and Gabriel Take are waiting for the football, hoping they'll have a chance to return that. The game started with a kickoff by the Rebels that went out of bounds, and the Titans had very good field position at the start of this one. And the second half is underway with the kick, and that will be returnable. Yes, Take got the football, trying to advance on the field, breaks a tackle, stays on his feet, changes direction. Take is still not down, escapes the tackle. Take with a lot of Houdinis on that play, and in the end he is tackled hard and sent out of bounds by the Titans. That was Diogo Mustafa, the one who finally finished the play. So good position for the Bucharest Rebels, courtesy of Gabriel Take with that first return of the third quarter. A renewed rivalry here today in Bucharest. Great weather considering the heavy rain we experienced in Bucharest in the past few days. 70 degrees Celsius right now, and plenty of sunshine. Well, the ball is placed at the 23-yard line in the end for the Bucharest Rebels, so that will be the starting position for the visiting team, with Sorin Marin playing at quarterback, the halfback once again, Mircea Constantin, who gets the football, tries to find some gap on the left side, and in the end he went into a wall, but not after gaining around 3 yards on that play. So that's a positive one for the Bucharest Rebels, a more manageable second down coming up. They had some success with the running game on the first half, but not enough in order to score. Both Mircea Constantin and Percy King tried to gain some yardage in the first two quarters, and they will try to complete their mission again in this second half. Mircea Constantin gets the football again, breaks through tackle, stays on his feet, and he is brought down here. This time a gain of around 4. So 3rd and 3 coming up for the Bucharest Rebels. Way more manageable this time, especially with the Rebels, known as a team that are going for it on 4th down. They're expecting another running play, but this time they will throw it, and the Titans are surprised by that. Completed pass straight into the hands of Cristian Dinu. And Sorin Marin moves the chains for the Rebels, 1st and 10. Well-balanced drive so far for the Rebels. 2 running plays, 1 passing play, and they are trying to play no huddle here. The ball stays on the ground again. Constantin, good tackle for the Titans. Ionuț Cristian, one of the players who combined for this tackle for the Titans, but looks like he injured his left hand here, or actually that's his right wrist he's holding on right now. It doesn't look good for Cristian. 2nd and 8. Marin once again through the air, another completed pass, and it looks like it is enough for a 1st down. Right on the marker, the catch was made by Marius Golanu, and they will not give a generous gain here for the Rebels, so that's gonna be 3rd and less than a yard So 3.5 yard to go for the Rebels. Marin once again from the pistol. Keeps it on the ground. Konstantin breaks the tackle with the stiff arm and he goes out of bounds. First down, Rebels. A lot of patience here for Mircea Konstantin, who realized that the gap was not open. He used that stiff arm in order to get the defender out of his way, and then he switched the direction, went for the right side, and that was good enough for a gain of around 4. First and 10 for the Rebels. In the Titans territory for the first time in the second half. Marin. Lateral here, and that's a tackle for a loss. Alex Lepădatu and Angel Stoyan combined for that tackle with Lepădatu stopping the Rebels offense. That's a big loss here for the Rebels, who are back in their own territory. A 7-yard loss on that play. Second down, Percy King gets the football. And he tries to get back to the initial line of scrimmage. Down right at the 50. That's a 3rd and 12 coming up for the Bucharest Rebels. Marin. Another pass. What a great catch by Take. Not enough for a first down, but he was in double coverage and yet was able to catch that football. A gain of around 7 for the Rebels here. 4th down coming up. They need about 5 yards in order to keep the chains moving. Otherwise, we're going to witness another turnover on downs here. Fourth and 5. A little bit of a premature moving. No flags on the field. The ball stays on the ground, and it will not be enough. The Titans hold on the defense. Turnover on down once again for the Rebels. The Titans get the ball back around their own 40. Another drive that started good for the Rebels, stalled after this Konstantin Mircea run that was greatly covered by the Bucharest Titans. So Titans once again with the offense on the field. Sam Armstead with the split backs. The snap is good this time. The ball stays on the ground. And back to the line of scrimmage is Bill Schreiber. His first run on this second half. Schreiber gained maybe 1 yard here for the Bucharest Titans. So 2nd and 9 is up next for the home team. They're not rushing anything right now compared to the Bucharest Rebels, who are trying to have a fast-paced offense on the field. The Titans are taking their time. in motion. He gets the football and down he goes. They were trying to surprise the Rebel with Chad Turner, but that was read perfectly by the defense, and Chad Turner is down for a loss of about 4 yards, maybe more. 4 or 5 yards lost here by Chad Turner. Third down up next for the Titans. Alex Marica, the center, getting ready for the snap. Armstead trying to communicate with his receiver. He looks on the left side, puts the ball up to Turner, and he got it! What a great grab by Chad Turner right in front of Patrick Barritz. And the Titans are moving the chains. First down, Chad Turner with the connection better than the Wi-Fi in your own house from Sam Armstead. That was spectacular, and that might be the play that gets the offense in rhythm for the Titans. They really needed something in order to gain some momentum. Right now they're in the Rebels territory. Armstead once again with a split back, this time on the right, incomplete, but with a flag at the end of the play. The intended receiver was Cătălin Dinu. We have a penalty marker on the field, and the game is stopped right now. We'll have to wait for the Georgia Russo announcement. And that's a hold against Victor Ioncev, a 10-yard penalty for the Titans. So things are getting complicated once again. Instead of a 2nd and 10, that's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Titans, back in their own territory, around their own 43-yard line. Cătălin Dinu in motion, gets out of bounds. They had too many men on the field. Right now they're 11 versus 11. Armstead in the pocket, puts it deep, but it is incomplete once again. They're asking for a pass interference. No flag on the play. Good coverage by Ștefan Frâncu for the Rebels. And that's going to be a 2nd and 20. Once again, I'd like to remind you that all the games are going to be broadcasted live in the DAFL on the official YouTube channel in about 1 hour and a half. The second game of this first week, the one played in the capital of Bulgaria between the Sofia Bears and the Kragujevac Wild Boars from Serbia, will be streamed here on the DAFL YouTube channel. The ball stays on the ground. And once again, the field is not friendly with the players. Henry Osse had a lot of real estate in front of him, but unfortunately he slipped, and that's going to be a minimum game for the Bucharest Titans. Same split backs for Armstead. Good protection this time. Armstead with a bootleg. Throws as he moves, and it is incomplete. On the 3rd down, almost connected with his receiver. Chad Turner was the intended target for Sam Armstead on that play, and they're going to have the punting unit on the field here. The Titans don't want to go for it. Or maybe they will. I've heard Bojan Kovacevic, the head coach of the Bucharest Titans, asking for a punt first. Right now they're in the huddle. The Rebels are not showing any player on the return, so probably they're anticipating an offensive play here for the Titans. Wow, and that's a huge penalty for a late hit against the Rebels. A 15-yard penalty that keeps the offense on the field. That's gonna move the chains for the Titans, and that's an automatic first down. So the Titans, who were facing a very difficult situation, balancing between punting the football or trying to go for it with minimum chances of converting on a 4th and long, right now gets the football back into the Rebels territory, and the 1st and 10 will be played through the air by Armstead, who is looking for a very deep ball, and he got the touchdown! Bioga Mustafa with the first one on that game. A 45-yard rocket for Mustafa, courtesy of Sam Armstead. Welcome to the DAFL, Mr. Armstead. 6-0 in favor of the Titans. This is what we were waiting for. The first blow on this game. First score. The Titans are up by 6 and probably a 2-point conversion coming up. Yoga Mustafa coming back on the field after that great catch from Sam Armstead. So the ball will be placed here on the 2-yard line, 2-point conversion. The ball from Armstead straight into the hands of Chad Turner, and the 2-point try is good. The Titans are up by 8. Back-to-back great plays by Sam Armstead. Mustafa and Turner at the end of those plays, and after a scoreless first half, we have 8-0 in favor of the Titans. And it looks like Henry Alsey is energized by this place. He is telling the crowd here, a pretty respectable crowd, I think maybe more than 100 spectators in the stands, maybe more. I don't know, I'm not really good with math, and I think it's enough for me that I have to do the math for every down and after every play, so I don't want to make any more mistakes except for those. But Henry Alsey definitely is saying there's a new team in Bucharest and you better be aware. Well, that was the perfect time to do just fine for the Titans. After that scoreless first half, the game resumes. A low kick here. It will be returned once again for the Rebels, and Takis slipped. Same problem. Slippery field. Whoever adjusts the cleats better will have a bigger advantage in this game. And the answer right now is for the team that dominated the American Football Championship in Romania in the past decade. How will they respond after getting that first touchdown allowed in the DAFL? Unfortunately, the game is stopped here. An injury for a Titans player. Might be the knee. I don't know. It doesn't look good at all. And looks like they need the medical attention here. Definitely the ambulance. This is not something we want to see, but unfortunately, a violent sport and a contact sport like American football leaves a lot of players with injuries throughout the season. Of course, the worst case scenario is to get a bad injury when the season starts. That would be a huge blow for the Bucharest Titans. Chad Turner, who had that 2-point conversion moments on, looks like will leave the field on a stretcher. I'm not really sure what happened there. I'm not sure if he was hit or just the knee popped as he was trying to make that tackle. They're gonna need the guys from the offensive line to put Turner on a stretcher, or at least to carry him outside of the field of play. I'm telling you, it doesn't look good right now. He's not bending the knee. I mean, he's helped to do it, but he's doing it really, really slow. And unfortunately for Turner, I think he is done for this game. Let's hope that's not something serious, and let's hope he can come back for the next one. As I was mentioning during the first half, the Titans are playing again at home 2 weeks from now against the Sofia Bears from Bulgaria in week number 2 of the DAFL. It's really hard to see from up here if the knee is the problem or if there's a hamstring, but if it wouldn't have been a hamstring, I think he would be at least back up and helped by the other guys to step out of the field without putting his weight on that foot. They have to take a lot of caution in order to not do any more damage to whatever happened to that leg, to that knee, to that hamstring. That's a very long interruption right here, and except for the fact that they're losing Turner, that's going to be a disadvantage also for the Titans, because right now the Rebels had enough time to get over that blow that allowed touchdown, that 2-point try, and they had a lot of time to talk about what they're gonna do up next and what the strategy will be to get back into this game. After all, this is only a one-possession lead. Only an 8-0 score in favor of the Titans. No, actually, that was that's not a player down there. It's my bad. Turner's okay. So the good news is that Turner is okay. The bad news is that whoever is on that side of the field, I cannot see it from up here. It's not feeling well. That's funny. So unfortunately for him, this game is over right here. And that's Darwin. Darwin is the player injured. And he's going to receive the medical attention that he definitely needs right here. Once again, let's pray for Darwin and hope he's going to be fine. We expect to see him back on the field as soon as possible as the game resumes with a tackle for a loss. The Titans defense gets right back at it, and that's going to be a loss of around 7 yards for the Rebels here. So Chad Turner is fine. Darwin, unfortunately, cannot play anymore in this game, and I think we are going to witness a false start. Yep. That's a false start against the Rebels. A 5-yard penalty. 2nd and 13 coming up. So far, the Rebels not able to get that offense in rhythm. And that's the end of the third quarter. So the third quarter is in the books. 8-0 Bucharest Titans, Bucharest Rebels. One more quarter to go. Rebels with the football in their own territory will start the fourth quarter, but in a very difficult position. A 2nd and 13 coming up for the visiting team. The only score so far, a 45-yard connection between Sam Armstead and Biogo Mustafa, and then a 2-point try where Armstead sent the football straight into the hands of Chad Turner. Fourth quarter starting right now. Rebels down by 8. Marin with a completed pass to Take, and Take is sent out of bounds by that great tackle by Luca Roșu. Roshu is congratulated here by his teammates after covering Take very well. Take so far one of the favorite targets for Sorin Marin. Marin once again from the pistol. Looks on the left side, Take is wide open, gets the football, trying to break a tackle. He cannot go any further. The Titans once again congesting that side. 3 players came there for the tackle. Once again, Alex Rus was very close to the action. Also Dimitar Dimitrov and Silviu Lungu collaborating for that tackle, and the 4th down coming up for the Rebels, and they're gonna go for it. 4th and 15. The Titans really close of taking over on downs on the opposing territory.
Watch the ball! Watch the ball! Watch the ball!
From the shotgun this time, Sorin Marin. No, that's gonna be a punt, but that will not go as designed. And Mircea Constantin is brought down, and the turnover on down is completed here by the Titans. I thought they're gonna go for it, but actually they were in the punt formation, but the special team was not able to hit that football high into the air. Mircea Constantin had some problems at the snap, and then he was trying to adjust as he moved, and he was brought down by the Titans defense, and now they are having the football on the 25-yard line. Considering the way this game went on so far, another score here for the Titans would give them a huge chance of getting the first W in the history of the DAFL. Of course, everything is possible. American football, a sport where the game can turn on a blink. Armstead followed here. He needs to get rid of that football, and he does. He was out of the pockets, so all he had to do is to throw that football over the line of scrimmage. We have a flag on the field though. But that's not for intentional grounding or anything like that. It's against the Titans for a hold. Ionuț Cârstian. 10-yard penalty for the Titans. And that first down will be replayed.
I stopped right in front of you. That's good. It's good because I fucking whenever in doubt.
First and 20. Armstead keeps the ball on the ground, and it is Bill Schreiber who gains a little bit of a yardage here. That's not a huge play, but still a positive one for the Bucharest Titans, a gain of about 1. The clock is still moving. Another advantage here for the Bucharest Titans as they are up by 8. Split back here for the Titans. Sam Armstead almost lost that ball. Now he throws it deep, and it is caught by Turner for a touchdown. Another 45-yard strike by Sam Armstead, and Chad Turner has given the Titans a 14-point lead. 2-point try coming up. There's there's a flag on the field, so we have to wait for the penalty in order to confirm the touchdown. I'm still waiting for the call from George Rusu. So the touchdown counts, 14-0 in favor of the Titans. We had an unsportsmanlike conduct after the play is over. The penalty will be enforced after the try. And right now the Bucharest Titans are trying to make it a 16-0 game here at the Steaua Rugby Stadium in the capital of Romania. Week number 1 of the DAFL. A rivalry renewed between the Titans and the Rebels. The team that dominated the American football in Romania for the past decade, down by 14, and they have to face a 2-point conversion now. Same split backs for Armstead, and we have a whistle. The game is stopped. Looks like right now everything is in order. Good snap this time. Armstead incomplete, and it stays 14-0 for the Titans. So 2 45-yard strikes from Armstead, one for Mustafa, the other for Turner. The first touchdown was completed with a 2-point try. The second one was also followed by a 2-point conversion, but this time the pass was incomplete. Bucharest Rebels will get the football back, but the clock is ticking right now. Not in this particular moment. Of course, right now the game clock is stopped, but figuratively speaking, the clock is ticking for the Rebels, and they really need to put some points on the board on the very next drive in order to keep their chances alive of coming back into this one and getting their first win in the Danube American Football League. Once again, I remind you that in about 1 hour and 10 minutes from now, the second game of the day will be also streamed here on YouTube. Live from the capital of Bulgaria, the Sofia Bears are ready to take on the Kragujevac Wild Boars from Serbia. 6 weeks for this DAFL brand new league. The games will be played once every other week, and at the end of the regular season, the team that finishes on the top will play against the 4th place in the semifinals. The 2nd and the 3rd place will face each other in the other semifinal, and of course the winner of those two will go for the first ever Danube American Football League final. So after the unsportsmanlike conduct, the Titans are forced to kick it from their own 50. The 15-yard penalty was enforced on that kickoff, as the return by King brings the ball to the 46-yard line of the Bucharest Titans. So that's the spot from where the Bucharest Rebels will take on with the offense on the field. Sorin Marin, the quarterback, coming back, hoping this time to unlock this very good defense for the Titans. A lot of discipline, a lot of poise, and very few mistakes for the Bucharest Titans defense so far in this game. flying from all sides. And that's a false start against the Rebels. A 5-yard penalty. The Titans are fired up right now, as they should be. A team that never won an official game in the history of the club is less than a quarter away of starting the DAFL with a dub against the team with most titles in Romania. First and 10, the pass from Marin to Percy King. Almost got the football back to the initial line of scrimmage. That's a gain of around 8. And the second and 11 coming up for the Rebels. I think I was a little bit generous with the gain for Percy King. Only 4 yards for him. So 2nd and 11 for the Rebels. Still playing with a pretty fast pace. Trying to catch the defense on the heels. King gets the football, breaks the first 2 tackles, still on his feet, and right now he is brought down. But that's a gain of 7. Good run here by Percy King. Third and 4. Marin flips it up. He has a man open, but that's inaccurate. The intended receiver was Bobo Dinka. Incomplete pass, and the 4th down coming up right here. I'm pretty sure that down by 14 and into the territory of the Titans, the Rebels will not even think about it. They're going to go for it. And this is a huge one in the outcome of the game. The Rebels really need this one. The Titans would look for a stop to get the football back on a turnover on downs. Empty backfield for Marin, puts it straight into the hands of Dinka. And the Rebels' hopes are still alive. First down for the Bucharest Rebels. The chains are moving. And the Rebels right now are on the 36-yard line of the Titans. Well-designed play here. They didn't go for anything fancy. A short pass from Marin, connected with Dinka on the right sideline. Once again, Marin, with a lot of time, runs out of the pocket, slings it on the right side. No good. Incomplete this time. The game is stopped, and we have also a timeout called by the Titans. That's their first timeout in the second half. Everybody understands how important this drive is right here. The Titans with a stop would keep a 2-possession lead over the Rebels and would get the ball back, and then they will have plenty of chances to manage the clock. Of course, you cannot get too cautious with it, because if you're getting unidimensional and keep the ball only on the ground, the other team can use their timeouts to stop the clock and get the football back. But until a situation like that, we don't have to think too much about it, because right now what's important is the outcome of this drive for the Bucharest Rebels. Rebels playing in Kragujevac 2 weeks from now against the Wild Boars. The Titans are hosting the Bears on April 18 here in Bucharest. Might be the same location, or they might change the stadium. I don't have any information about that yet. Second down here for the Rebels. Marin with an incomplete pass. The Titans were inches away for a second interception by Dimitar Dimitrov. Dimitrov picked off Marin in the first half once, and he was so close of doing it again. Incomplete. 3rd and 9 coming up for the Rebels. They dodged the bullet right here. Marin puts it on the right sideline. Dinka with the catch, but it looks like he was not able to hold on that ball, so that's going to be incomplete again. 4th down for the Rebels. Second time they are facing a 4th down during this drive. Last time, Sorin Marin and Bobo Dinka connected for the 1st down. They have to do it again. Fourth and 9, empty backfield for the Rebels. Marin with a rocket from the pocket, and it is incomplete. Broken off by the Titans. Great play there by Teodor Antoje. Antoje with an extension from another dimension, putting his arm right to the ball and stopping that completed pass. It was a pretty good throw. I'm not gonna lie about that. A pretty good throw by Sorin Marin, but this time the defense was even better. Antoje with a play, giving the ball back to the Titans. From the last spot, the Rebels had the snap, so the Titans take over and downs on their own 36. The ball stays on the ground. This is exactly what the Rebels expected, and they were coming for it. They annihilated the halfback on this play. And that's a loss of about 10 yards for the Titans. This is exactly what I was talking about moments ago when the Rebels were on the offense, that you don't have to go unidimensional on this type of situation, because I know it's situational football. I know we want to keep the clock moving. This is exactly what the Titans are doing right now. But the Rebels still with 3 timeouts in their pocket. Still plenty of time until the end of this game. They are expecting the running game right here for the Titans, so maybe a pass could be surprising, and this is exactly what the Titans are doing here. And look at that one, Armstrong for Chad Turner. Turner finally brought down, but he is brought down inbound, so the game clock was still moving until the Rebels were calling for a timeout. So that's the first time out in the second half for the Bucharest Rebels. The game clock stops. 3rd down coming up for the Titans after a gain of 8, courtesy of Chad Turner.
Whoever plays the punt, get your helmet on your head. Guys, please don't make mistakes.
The game cannot resume yet after the timeout called by the Rebels. And it looks like a lot of confusion for the Rebels. The players are asking who called for the timeout. The coach is screaming, "We did!" So the game was stopped here. Of course, the timeout was called for the tactical aspect of stopping the clock. So another split backs here for Armstead. And this time, the hard count. It looks like fooled the defense. I think that was offside, but no. Looks like the hard count fooled the offensive line, so that's going to be a false start against the Titans. A 5-yard penalty. So a false start here called by the umpire. Vlad Rus is the umpire for this game, and that was the talk here on the sideline. The Titans are contesting that penalty, and George Russo is telling them that if the umpire gave me the false start, this is what I have to call. I'm sorry. Third down here for the Titans, a deep pass almost picked off. The intended receiver here was Catalin Dinu, but that was closer of an interception for Petru Matache Albulescu than for a completed pass. So the punting unit on the field for the Titans. Of course, they're not going to risk anything, up by 14. They will love to put that ball deep into the territory of the Bucharest Rebels. Percy King on the return, one of the imports for the Rebels, along with Trevante Carter. It looks like it's gonna be a punt here from the sideline. King will have a chance to return it. Breaks the first tackle, breaks another one, and finally stays on his feet. I don't know, he managed to escape that one, and in the end he is brought down at the 25-yard line. But that was amazing from Percy King, who received a huge blow that I can tell you that would level me down with that hit. But Percy King was like a rock on that play, and he continued to run, he continued to return that football, giving Sorin Marin a little bit of more advantage on the start of this drive. So the ball will be placed on the 25-yard line for the Bucharest Rebels. They have to score a touchdown on this drive. Otherwise, it's gonna be almost impossible for them to come back into this game. 14-0 the score in favor of the Rebels. Once again, Mustafa and Turner with the touchdowns, both thrown by Sam Armstead, who's making his debut here at the DAFL with so far a 2-touchdown game. First and 10. Marin looking for someone in the middle. It's incomplete. It would have been a short gain for the Bucharest Rebels, but Alex Irimia, the intended receiver, could not catch that football. Second and 10 up next for the Rebels. Marin from the pistol puts it on the right sideline. That's completed, but only for 2 yards. Bobodinka with a catch. 3rd and 7 for the Rebels. 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, something like that. I think it's 3rd and 7. So in the end, a 3-yard gain by Bobodinka. Once again, the Rebels are trying to play fast, but this time they are forced by the running time. The ball stays on the ground, nothing to gain here. Right at the line of scrimmage, the running back is brought down by the Titans defense. Mircea Constantin could not advance any further. And that's another 4th down for the Rebels, where they have to go for it. Marin this time with Constantin on his left side. 4 wide receivers on the play. Marin incomplete, and once again the Titans are taking over on downs. No harm done by the Rebels offense. The defense of the Titans is still spectacular on this game, not allowing any point, and actually not allowing the Bucharest Rebels to get into the red zone, except for some very specific situation when the penalties or the turnovers of the offense left the Rebels in those very good spots on the field. So if I heard correctly, it should be 2 more minutes on this game. Rebels still with 2 timeouts left. I'm not sure if we got the 2-minute timeout here. I'm not sure if we reached the 2 minutes point of this game, or there's still a little bit more than 2. The game can resume right now. Titans on the 30-yard line of the Rebels. Sam Armstead with a split backfield keeps the ball on the ground to Bill Schreiber. Schreiber trying to find some space on the left. The question right here is if Schreiber went out of bounds or not. If he went out of bounds, the game clock stops, so it will be smarter for the Titans to keep the ball in bounds. That was a gain of 4. 2nd and 6 from the Rebels 24.
They don't have money for the referees, so they gonna get their ass whooped.
Once again, the ball stays on the ground. Schreiber with a flag on the field. Tackled from behind by Golanu. Or actually, I think that was Sebastian Bularda who made the tackle on the sideline. And the penalty is against the center. Alex Marica with a hold for the Titans. 10-yard penalty against the home team. And also the clock stops here. Titans can feel it. They can smell it. They can sense it. But this is not over yet. They have to take care of this. Last minutes of the game, up by 14. Penalties are not helping them. 2nd and 17. The ball stays on the ground again. Not a bad run. As the Rebels expected, the ball stayed in the hands of Bill Schreiber. He is tackled after a 3 or 4 yard gain here. Probably 3. third and 14 is up next for the Titans. The Rebels did not call for a timeout here, so the game clock is still moving. That's why the Titans are taking their time. They know every second they can milk from the clock is in their favor. Third and 14. Armstead leaves it again to Schreiber. He moves down the sideline and he is pushed out of bounds. But I think that will keep the football in bounds and the game clock moving. Fourth down coming up. What will the Titans do here? They are at the 30-yard line of the Rebels. So probably they will punt it. Yeah, they have to punt it here. They're not gonna force on a fourth down. They're not gonna go for it. Up by 14. A field goal is not easy from that distance, especially for teams who are not practicing for field goal situations. So they are gonna punt the football, or maybe no, that's a fake punt and Mustafa is trying to run the distance. Smart play here for the Titans. There are many things that can go wrong during a punt when, as I mentioned before, you don't have a special team designed to do only that. And with that run for Mustafa, it might be even better for the Titans because they gain some yards. It's not a first down here. The Rebels are going to take over on downs, but the starting position for the Bucharest Rebels will be again pretty much complicated. The question right here is if we had a penalty or not. I see a flag on the field, but I'm not sure that it was thrown by a referee. Once again, if that's the case, we're going to hear it from Georgia Russo, the referee of the game. The officiating crew is still in talks here, but still no call. And actually we had some penalties for unsportsmanlike conduct. And two players are disqualified from this game. Silviu Lungu from the Bucharest Titans and Andrei Cauca from the Bucharest Rebels. So those two players for unsportsmanlike conduct are disqualified from the game. Those two penalties will offset, and the Rebels will have the football somewhere near to their own end zone. It looks like they're gonna put the football at their own 18 as it is right now. So from their own 18 is the football for the Titans, my bad. The Titans get the first down here. That's a knee by Armstead and the game will be over. So actually that was the first down for the Bucharest Titans. Two players disqualified. The Titans don't want to run up the score. They show everybody they're gonna take the victory formation from now on. And for the first time ever in the history of the Bucharest Titans, the team is is winning an official game, and it's not any game, is the opening game of the brand new Danube American Football League with a score of 14-0 against the Bucharest Rebels, the team that dominated the American Football Championship in Romania in the past decade. The Titans can celebrate. Historic day for the Titans, Saturday, April 4th, 2026, 14-0 between the Titans and the Rebels. 2 touchdown passes thrown by Sam Armstead, one for Biogo Mustafa, the other one for Chad Turner, who also had a catch for a 2-point try. And that was the history of this first game in the DAFL. Hoping that you had a good time on our YouTube channel, and reminding you that the second game of the day is coming up in about 45 minutes, where the Sofia Bears will host in the capital of Bulgaria the Kragujevac Wild Boars from Serbia. And once again, apologizing for any mistakes that I had done during this live call of the game here from Steaua Rugby Stadium. My name is Cosmin Petrescu. It was a pleasure to be your host and your guide for this game. The final score: Bucharest Titans 14, Bucharest Rebels nothing. The Titans with their first win in the DAFL. The Rebels are down 0-1. Both teams are playing 2 weeks from now. Titans are gonna face the Sofia Bears here in Bucharest on April 18, while the Rebels will travel to Kragujevac to take on the Kragujevac Wild Boars. For now, I'm saying so long. Once again, thank you everybody who joined us here on the live stream. Hope to have you here with us again for the very next game. All the best. Peace out.